Call the meeting to order. Pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I forgot my book to do roll.
Roll call.
I can do it without it, I guess. Graham,
Yes.
Pipia, Bikeman,
Present.
Hughes,
Yes, here.
Fry,
Present.
Schroller,
Here.
Behrens,
Here.
Throm.
Here.
We have a quorum.
All right. First up, we have the approval of the minutes. Does anybody have any changes or additions?
On the round table, I did not say anything about table items because I had asked that the items that needed to be completed, that's what I had asked about then. Because I know we don't have any tabled items. That was on number 11, I think, on the round table. Or 10, I guess. Not 11, number 10 on the round table.
So you were asking about incomplete items, or how did you?
Just items that need to be completed, yes. It didn't have anything to do with tabled items, because we had no tabled items. We have no tabled items.
Correct.
Okay. Anything else? Yeah, there.
Yes, I don't know if I didn't know what all the minutes were because it says that they're 1 through 8, but I don't have 5 pages.
There are only 5 pages.
And then it
says
says
5
1
of
through
5.
8, but
Where does it say 1 through 8? What are you talking
page 2 says page 1 of 8.
Oh, it does.
about? Oh,
The rest of them are right.
the rest of them are right. That one just didn't automatically fix. I can fix that by hand. Yeah, I don't know why it didn't automatically. They automatically fix themselves, so.
Anything else?
Move to approve the regular minutes, January 13th meeting, 2020, with amendments.
Second. Okay. All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed?
7-0.
Okay. Next up, we have public comment. Anybody that wants to come up to the podium for 5 minutes, just state your name and your ward. Anybody here for public comment? Okay. First up, we have Amber Payshaw requesting a waiver on the distance limitation for alcohol sales. Amber?
When I came in to get the permit through the city, they looked at the distance from front door to front door instead of property line to property line. So now I am back to get a permit. Like I'm assuming the Kester House would have been issued, so I can keep going.
Technically, it's just a waiver. The
A
council
waiver.
can just waive
Okay.
the feet because
Okay.
we have 2 different places in the code book that say 2 different things.
Yes, so that's what I'm here for.
I'll move that we waive the distance limitations for alcohol sales for C'est La Vie.
Second.
Any discussion? No. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
7-0.
Good deal.
All right.
Are you done with me?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks,
You're welcome.
Amber.
Thank you.
So do we need to change this then, so that they agree?
We could, but I wouldn't think it'd come up that often.
It's only come
So-
up, well, since the Kester restaurant, which was about in probably 75 or 80, and then now. So if you want to keep control of it, it doesn't, whichever way. We can rewrite it if you want, but otherwise, no. You can just do a waiver every time it happens.
Can you guys speak up?
Okay, next up is Ellen Barber with the Partnership for Growth.
I want to welcome the new mayor and the new council members. It is renewal of membership time, and so I'd like to explain some of the projects I'm involved with and see what sort of projects or support that Marysville would like. We do a lot of helping of towns to find grants. Just this last week, a policeman asked me if there was any grants for a new neighborhood watch. So I was able to send him several really good ones to get that started up. A mayor requested help with library grants. I was able to supply that as well. Actually, Partnership for Growth has invested in a scholarship, not a scholarship, but a grant type of search so that we can help our cities even more. In 2019, one of our largest projects was restoring the grocery store in Blue Rapids, which was basically with working with the city council so that we can provide a debt-free building. So that was a major project. And then it also made it possible for us to expand Mustang Motors by getting the building down to a reasonable price. Otherwise, that building would have most likely gone into blight. In Summerfield, the partnership was able to apply for and get a $300,000 community service tax credits so that they could rehab the former school and start up an aeroponic tower farm that we hope to be a veteran training base for alternative farming. So we have some pretty major things going on that cause major economic development. Right now, I have several projects in Marysville itself going on. I'm working with a group to determine feasibility for senior housing. And another project, the partnership is designing a map for all the vacant lots or empty housing as an infill map to identify the least expensive way to do housing builds. All the infrastructure is already there in a neighborhood, so it makes more sense to do infill housing. And so we're trying to see if we can capitalize on that, to see what's available. We also have a business park in Marysville, and we're figuring out a way we can offer our land at a terrific incentive to get business into Marysville. We're working on some interesting ideas with this. There's some things I'd like to see Marysville consider. There's downtown ideas that can be incorporated. I'm constantly running into new ideas because I have so much material coming through my desk. An example of one way that Marysville could incentivize their businesses, this is from Elk City, Oklahoma, is every new retail business could get a 3-year graduated sales tax rebate. So in other words, the first year they might get 50% off their sales tax, the second year 40%, the third year 30%. It's a win-win because now that the city has at least 50% more taxes coming in, second year 60 and then 70%, and then the business can get on its feet a lot easier. So that's an idea that you might want to consider. I'm also working with the Brownsfields program a lot right now in Blue Rapids, and I've been very impressed with it. It's totally free through the state. It's not the federal one, but it's the state Brownfields. And we're looking at 7 buildings that they have done these incredible reports on. They do it not only on the building, but on the site itself, and they look at all the history, and their historical society there has given us a lot of information which their engineers used, and they have reports that are like 200 pages long that explain everything about these buildings, what can be contaminated or not. And the great thing about it is the owners learn what is the actual worth of this building. Because if it's contaminated, or some of them, they actually did structural evaluations for us, which was very rare. They don't usually do that. But that way the owner says, hey, I have mold, or I have a structural problem, or I have, luckily no one had asbestos that was friable. But they're able to see what the real cost of their building is. Right now, I keep hearing back from so many people The reason buildings don't sell downtown is because people sell them too high. And then they can't be fixed up because there's so much to fix up. So when they go through this brownfields idea, they see, oh no, I shouldn't be trying to sell my building for this. If I want to get rid of it, I have to cut my losses and sell it or else demo it. And so they get more realistic, and we can either sell those buildings or we can demo them and put something better in there. And so I'm excited about what's happening there, and the city is just doing a great job following through and planning for what comes next. Speaking of block grants, even if you get this firehouse grant, you can still apply for another block grant because it's a new year. You can have 2 block grants open at the same time. So if you'd like me to work with you to figure out what grant would benefit you the most, I'd be happy to do that. I'd also like to continue with trying to apply for a Network Kansas application. Michelle and I worked on that last year. We had a good application. They just had so many apply and not enough spots, so they told us to reapply this year if possible. And I'd really like to see us get that extra money come in. They're unique programs, and they have a lot of match type of grants, and it would be very helpful to the city. So right now, I'm the acting president at the North Central Regional Planning Commission, and to me, that simply means I can advocate for our county and our cities even more strongly. We also this year have 2 wind farms coming in. One's coming in the south of the county, but one is coming straight through Marysville. Have you all seen the map of that line, the green belt line coming through? If you haven't, I'll just pass this around, but it's going to be quite significant. And so it's just important that there's a lot of good communication back and forth, and I met with that group this morning. They like to work through economic development because we know people and we are helpful with resources. And one thing I found out that I was glad I did was they want to put an office either in Concordia or Marysville. Well, we need people, and we need people in our downtown. So I said, you know what, if you're going to have a permanent office, I bet Marysville would love to have you. So they're coming through anyway. It's already approved by the state and federal government, so why not have them here? So I've already done work to attract them to our downtown, and I'd like to continue doing that. Those are just some of the things we can do together, but I think it's your turn, and I'd like to know if there's any EcoDevo development projects that you're interested in. If you have any questions about anything I've talked about, anything you want to pursue, I'd love to hear about it.
Anybody have any questions?
The project for emptying lots there north of Canaquip, is that still in the plans?
That's the business park area. It does have 5 lots, and so it could be used for business. It could be used. We even had someone look at it for senior housing. But we were thinking of offering it at a very attractive price, so that people would want to go and build there.
Okay, thank you.
So, is this council interested at all in developing a business park? Or do you have ideas for what could go in there?
We've had discussions about it.
What would you all like to see happen in the new year? Because I would like to see someone work with me to make some plans so it can happen. It takes someone from your council to help me get the okay so I can move.
Well, the problem, is what you want to attract to it. Because, one person could come in and build one huge building to cover 5 lots
That's true.
instead of 5 smaller buildings. So I mean, it depends on what we as a council want to look forward as what we want out there, one large building or several smaller buildings to house people or house businesses in.
We still have a warehouse problem. I had someone looking for a warehouse this last week, and it needs to be at least 2,000 square feet. And everywhere I looked, like the one in our present business park was already sold. The other one that Steve Colhorst has, the schools picked it up. They're using it. There's just no space.
Right.
So, I mean, even if someone were to come in and build a warehouse, that would be a plus. We just don't have anything left.
What are the dues? What is she asking for?
Well, getting back to membership, some members last year wanted to see the partnership supported at a higher level. So what sort of membership do you see the city providing at this time to Marshall County Partnership?
What were we last year, Ellen?
1,000.
1,000.
What's council think as far as our funding right now?
And she's got a lot of great ideas and stuff. I mean, I think we could up our donation to the Partnership for Growth.
Hey, what's the next
We're at
level?
what, bronze level now, is that right?
Right, you're at a bronze level. The next level is a silver level. It's 2,500. That's where Blue Rapids comes in. We've done a lot of work with them. That's where Blue Valley has come in. First National Bank is at that level.
Does anybody want to make a motion? Terry?
What was our return on our last year? I mean, we donated to help Partnership for Growth. What did Marysville benefit last year from what they did? If we're going to talk about going up, what was the bottom line to Marysville?
Well, if I were to make a list, it would take me quite a while, but I could come back with a list if you like. But a lot of what I do is people calling me on the phone, like you saw Amber Payshaw here today. Is that how to say her last name? I spent a lot of time working with her when she started up her business.
I understand that. I was just curious what the taxpayers have gotten from having Partnership for Growth working for them.
What if a taxpayer?
I mean, that's who pays the city's bill here. That's who donates the money
Right.
to you to make it good.
Well,
I just wondered what the bottom line was to the city.
Right. Well, as a whole, I brought $774,000 to the county through the grants and money I raised through state and federal grants.
To the county.
To the county and the cities, right. Like these tax credits that were raised for Summerfield, that would have gone to the Summerfield area. A lot of money went to Blue Rapids because, like I said, they're working with me, and I have a group that comes and says, we want this done in our downtown, and we work together and get it done. If your city council doesn't step up and say, yeah, we're going to have an ad hoc committee here that will work with Ellen, and we want this and this and this done, it probably won't get done as well because I'm over here waiting for a board to give me permission. You give me somebody to work with, things get done a lot easier for all of us. So it's kind of, you put in the effort and the money, it gets returned.
Maybe it'd be kind of nice if we had you brought back a deal that showed how the city area benefited. Then we got something to talk about. where we could tell people and show people. I mean, if somebody does something someplace real close here, Partnership for Growth has the takes the credit for doing it, just like to see something, say, this is what Partnership for Growth did for us.
Right. But I'll tell you, I don't always write down all of the Amy's that call me. I don't keep a big list and so I can pull it out every council meeting and bore everybody. But I'm constantly working and I'm working overtime because so many people call me and talk to me.
I understand that.
So you'd have to, I don't know how you put a number on that, but if you want to count my time, I'm sure that it would be there. I do want to remind you, I did invite Honeyman Ford to Marysville, and I'm sure they're bringing in a lot of sales tax to this city, and I bet it's over $1,000. So, right there is one thing. They also had a fundraiser for your fire department, and how much did that raise? Does anybody know?
$3,450.
Okay, I think we got it paid for there, Terry. 3 times over, plus the sales tax. So I think we're good.
Any more discussion? Anybody want to make a motion?
Move that we raise our rate or our donation to Partnership for Growth to $2,500.
Is there a second?
Second.
Thank
On.
you.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right.
Opposed?
So
Right.
here's the kicker. You guys can have someone on a board, I'd love that. Appoint someone or ask someone, they can even be in the community to represent you, someone who's close to working with you. I will be back though and report to you as well. But I would also request that we have a committee that wants to work on economic development so that I know where you want to go and we can get some things done this year.
All right, we'll keep that in mind. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Ellen.
Next up, we have Brian Froggle with Marysville Sport and Rec.
Yeah, thanks for having me again, and we
Thank
turn in a year-end report every year, and so I think in your package, you guys should have that year-end report. Just want to see if there's any questions or anything about that report, or about last year.
I see pickleball just hasn't got a hold of real good yet, has it? It's coming.
For not having it.
Yeah.
Right now, every Monday night, they're up at the Armory playing.
Yeah.
We put a court down there and bought a net, so there's about eight of them that show up there on Monday nights. But then I think now that you guys painted the
Tennis
pickup,
court.
yeah, I think you'll see
Yeah.
that.
I think it'll pick up when spring gets here.
Absolutely.
Anybody have any questions for him?
Looks like it's going well.
All right.
Nice report, Brian.
I'd like to compliment you on the neat weekend you guys provided. Didn't have nothing to do with Sport and Rec, but with your program up there at the
Oh,
Legion.
the singing thing?
You guys did a hell of a job.
Well, thank you.
That was nice.
It was fun. It's a lot of work, but it's rewarding to see the money get put back, to bring events and things here. So
That's really neat.
thank you. That's all I have.
Thank you very much,
Thanks,
Brian.
Brian.
Next up, we have Michelle Weitzel with Bloom Creative Contract.
I apologize, I got my letter to Austin late. Have they seen a copy of this?
Yeah.
Okay, I brought copies to pass around. I apologize for that. As I said in my letter, I'm in my 4th year, starting my 4th year of being your tourism director, and it's a position that I hold very highly. I'm very pleased, very proud to have those services for the city. And I wanted to certainly point out that we ended 2019 on a high note. I highlighted a few things in that letter. I know I put those in my monthly notes that I send, but it's just kind of nice to see those 4 really big ones, especially that first one. I just can't, it's almost like I can't believe it. I'm just so excited that we're going to be in that magazine. You most certainly cannot pay for that kind of reach, so I'm very proud, our committee is, that we've made that connection and hope to really continue with this forward momentum that we're having. So I was just coming before you as a recommendation from my committee and with the efforts that I've put forth in the last few years, hoping to increase my contracted amount with the city. And I can answer any questions that you may have.
You had some numbers, didn't you, Senator? I had some numbers too. I was doing some figuring this afternoon, and we gave all the other employees a 75-cent an hour raise.
Okay.
So if we went off of that with your 25 hours a week, we would increase it by $18.75 a week, $99.75 a year, and $81.25 a month, which would bring it up to $21,725 a year and $1,810 a month. So yeah, so what you're asking for is pretty much in line with what we gave the other employees. And council members have some comments and some discussion on this?
I make a motion that we give her the $1,250 a year annual raise.
Second.
Okay. Any more discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That was easy enough. Thank you, Michelle.
Thank you.
Okay, next up we have the sewer permit reissuance.
Do we have to do a new contract?
Yeah. We'll write one. We'll have to change the numbers.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
just numbers, yeah.
Yeah, well, I just wondered why we didn't have the new one in here, that's all I
Because
wondered.
I never had the letter even to type it. I didn't know what they were gonna be.
Oh, okay.
Okay, I'll let Austin take this one.
Okay, we, if you wouldn't mind wandering your way up here, Kent, just so we can answer questions. We received a letter in regards to our sewer, our lagoons, and a number of things that have happened over the last, they have records back to 2015. Basically, they outline some issues that they've found in our total suspended solids and our BOD, which Kent can kind of explain in here. But basically, KDHE is requiring us to get an engineer to solve our issues this year. They gave us a timeline to sort of work out the issues that we have. Now, coming into this, we kind of knew there were some issues because we were testing with the sludge, how deep it was, and because it's kind of caught up in the corner of cell 1. And we had, in one of our workshops, kind of decided that we were going to work on this 2021. So this kind of pushed our timeline up on solving these issues 1 year in advance. So it's something we were already planning to work through, but we got a timeline now. Do you have any additional information you want to add to what I just said?
Well, basically, a lagoon is a pretty simple way to treat your wastewater if it's working right, and which ours is for the most part. But I mean, there's times during the year when your TSS is high, and it's usually a lot of times what that stands for is total suspended solids. It's just stuff that's floating in the water. Toilet paper or whatever, but it's also your algae and things like that. So there's times of the year that's worse than other times. But there are things that we could put in line, like I think Austin might have put it in there. There's just some things that people were throwing at me. One of them was that mechanical bar screen. That would be going down here to the plant down at 3rd and Walnut. And it'd be before it goes into the wet well to go pumped up to the lagoons, and it takes there's shop rags that we dig them out of the lagoons out there because they block the pipes. There's the ones that don't break down. The only thing that you're supposed to flush is toilet paper. That's the only kind that's designed to break down in the water. Paper towels don't, shop rags don't, and we get them all the time. Tampon applicators, a lot of people flush their insulin needles. I've had guys get stuck in the hand by needles when they're cleaning a sewer. So there are things that we need to do probably to take care of that kind of thing also. And once you get it out to the lagoons, there's a possibility we could have to build a new cell. When they did that originally, they left room for a larger, bigger additional cell. They just had to build the walls. It's pretty much there. But those baffles that you had in there too, I've seen those. Clyde has those on their ponds. I've been over there to look at them. They basically what it does is it comes in, the sewage comes in, and you have these baffles in there, and it has to work its way around them. So it can't just do a straight shot at an outfall. So it can't just, because we had a lot of problem with short cyclones with what started all this, because it was coming in up here, but it would go right down here to the outfall structure, and wasn't getting its total treatment. It's supposed to, our lagoons are set up for 120 days detention time, and I don't really know if I can tell you that it's getting that or not. Plus, we had a mechanical plant before these lagoons got put in, and I don't know, some of you have lived here most of your life and you've probably seen that plant out there by the river. When they put the lagoons in, nobody here on the council, none of us, I was pretty new yet when they did that, but nobody had seen that done before. So we were just, the guy that was inspecting it was just following the plans. So, but you don't see design flaws until they're in operation, and then it's almost too late. So, but there are some things that probably could have been done better out there. Like maybe run them in a series a little better. Like start to, can I? Yep. You got the lagoons right here. The force main comes in. I don't know if you can see this little concrete structure right here. That's where it comes in, and it comes in. There's a pipe laying on the bottom of the lagoon, and it brings it out to about right here. Okay. Now, this one's not so bad, but these two, they short cycle, because this comes down here to this structure, and if you could put it into this one, and then it works its way down, then you brought it up. And if it got all the way back up to here and worked its way back down here to here, it would give it more time. But you were with me today, right? And this structure right here, can you see, Kevin? I'm sorry.
Yeah, you're fine, Kent.
There's a structure right here. This is one where we got a blow up old plug in there right now, because this overflowed the other day. You all knew about that, right? Mm-hmm. That's the first time that's ever happened. And we had, last Friday when we left, all these were in good shape as far as levels. Even this one was down, probably that far down from where it had been. we come back today, and these are all still looking good, but this one's back up there only about this far from going over again. So we stuck a plug in here so no more was flowing in here to let this fill up a little bit up here, and let this catch up. But I don't know what that deal is, but we're working on it, trying to figure it out. But anyway, your force main comes in here. This is here, and it comes out here, and then it splits. Right now, we got it so it goes into here and to here, both, just so it puts it in 2 ponds instead of just the one, to help maybe settle it out better. And that's what was recommended to us by KDHE and KRWA to do, because it was, like I said, it was short cycling. It was just coming down here and not getting the total, basically we were almost forgetting about 1 pond when it was doing it the original way. So, but if this came in here like it does and had some curtains in here where it had to work its way around and then drop out here and some more curtains, and then a pipe down here at a structure, took it back up to the top and it worked its way back around some more curtains, then it could dump in here and it would probably be well over the 120 days, and hopefully it would. And there's a couple other things too. Right here where it discharges to the river, there's a lower pipe that's further down in the pond, and a higher one. We've been using the lower one because the top is where the algae's at, usually floating. But we've had a guy suggest that maybe we should extend these pipes, and the way it looks on the prints, they just are right level with the concrete. That there's a concrete
Apron.
Is it an apron? Is that what they call it? Apron around all these ponds. Okay, they all got concrete around them, so the wave action don't eat the dirt away. But
So where's the other one that
the other one could go right here.
right there?
That's what they left for it. Was right there. I don't know if you've been out there. I mean, most of you haven't been out there yet, but you'll get to tour, I'm sure.
We have been, that was a while back, and that was the only time I've ever been there. So.
Well, how many of you know how everything gets there? Do you know how it gets there? Okay, originally it came right. Let's see, here's the river, right? Yep. Here's where the old plant was, right here. It came down here, out into here, and went across the river. Well, it's further down though. It was out back here. This was before all this was borrowed out of here. Okay, this was all nice crop ground back here. Came down here and went across underneath the river, about 15 foot underneath the river. They bored it. I mean, it was a big hole. I could have crawled through it. So, pretty good sized hole. And brought it up here. But then, after about 7 years, when they told us we were never ever going to have to build a levee around town, and then they said they were, and then we had to move it into town. Now it comes over the river, over the bridge, wherever it is, right here. And comes up here behind Breeding Heights and down here and ties back into where it used to right here. Comes in there. And then the outfall comes down here out of this, there's structure right here, and it comes along this levee right here. I guess you'd call it a levee. Is it a levee?
Yeah.
A dike or whatever?
Yeah.
Anyway, it comes down here and it runs right beside the force main. There's you saw today, there's manholes out there where you can, the force main's in half in one side, which is an open, and then there's a pipe going through that's cut part of it off so you can see the flow from the
going through there.
outfall. So, but those curtains, and there's aeration fans too. The BOD, biochemical oxygen demand, is the oxygen that it needs to break down the solids in the water. Okay, and we have plenty of. We get a lot of air out there because it's on the hill, but obviously it's not enough. I mean, there's days out there it looks like you got white caps on there. I mean, like you're boating somewhere, but then you get down here, and when it's after the 120 days and you take your test, and then it's not.
It still isn't.
Right. So, I mean, there's some things that need to be done. I think this would probably be your most expensive, putting a new cell in. And, I mean, don't get me wrong, none of it's cheap. I mean, that mechanical bar screen, I didn't price any of that stuff because I didn't know how far you wanted me to go into it for sure right now. But they're not cheap, and these curtains aren't cheap either. And every bit of that's gonna, I mean, to put curtains in these ponds, this one's gonna have to be dredged first anyway.
Right.
So you can get because they go clear down to the bottom of the pond.
Right.
And sit on there, kind of like a tennis net, basically.
Right.
So if they did build if we do end up building a fourth cell up there, would they take it from the bottom of the second one and go clear back to the top?
I don't
Clear
know.
to the north end again and
probably
then bring
wouldn't
it
be a
through
bad idea,
bring it back through the next two to bring it out?
Sooner or later, they're not gonna let us discharge. We're a discharging system.
I knew that.
Sooner or later, they're not gonna let us discharge. And then we're probably not gonna have anything to do but build a nice, big, deep one. I mean, these are 5 foot, roughly deep. This is 8. And this one, these probably would need to be deeper than that, I would say, probably 10, 12.
Yeah.
I mean, you got, how many gallons of water did we figure were out there in the ponds today?
A lot.
Well, in an
A lot
acre
of
foot,
gallons.
in an acre foot, there was
I
326,000.
think that's the number, yeah.
So these are 13 acre ponds, and this is 6.5 acre pond. So
Lots of
water.
water.
There's close to 200 million, probably. Wasn't it close to 200
Something
million?
like it was, yeah, a lot of water.
So,
So basically, we wanted to give you an overview of what was going on, of the letter that came from KDHE, and what process we're gonna have to go through. And again, we didn't expect a letter from KDHE, but we kind of expected to go through a process to figure out our lagoons.
no, they were just here for an inspection the other day. And they tell us there's nothing we're doing wrong as far as operating it. It's just, I don't know if it's a design flaw or what. But, because, like I said, this thing here, there's a structure here, I don't even know what it does. I don't ever see any water going in it, nothing. Then there's another little structure right here, and it just goes between these two ponds. So it's not really doing much. Then this one down here takes it out of both of these ponds and throws it into this one. So you're taking water out of two 13-acre ponds and putting it into a 6-acre pond. Well, it's no wonder it's not getting settled out to quite right. I mean, but it's better than it was. That's the problem.
Right.
And that's why this overflowed the other day, was because we've been having trouble with this pipe right here. Turtles get in them, things like that, and they die in there. And then there was these kind of grates on the end of the pipe. Well, we'd come out here when these two were getting high, this one wasn't, and this one wasn't. So we'd shut this off, which is what we got going on now, to keep too much from going in here. We'd take our sewer truck out there and we took air first. We got that balloon that we blow up, and we also can blow air, charges of air through it, just to see if, I mean, you can watch it come out of here. So, you think you're doing something good, and it goes down slow, which is fine. Well, this last time, they went out there and they cleaned it, and I mean, they got through it so good that the hose from the sewer truck came up out of the bank and was laying on the levee there. So, and then it just went and filled this thing up. I mean, like I said, you got two pretty full 13-acre ponds filling up a 6-acre pond that's down about that far. It didn't take very long. So, but is there any other questions I can try and answer for you? I mean,
They say anything on a ruling of how long till there will be non-discharging?
that has to do with the ammonia content.
They've been threatening, so they've been concentrating on, this has been since my last job, they've been concentrating on mechanical plants right now.
Right.
And every inspector I've had has said lagoons will be next. Well, they got to go through every mechanical plant first. So it's been, I mean, obviously, like 4 or 5 years
And so they're getting through the mechanical plants right now, and then they'll retool the rules for everybody else. So it's coming. They've always told me it's coming.
Well, I know we've been saving money up over the years for the dredging on this.
Yes. So it's, they don't have a timeline. It's not yet, but
I guess, do you want me to see what some of this stuff would cost? I mean,
I would probably recommend, we obviously gotta go through the plan.
Yeah.
And if we go out and try to figure out what each of these items cost, when the engineer's gonna go, you got 1 and 2, and that's what it is.
Okay.
Yeah, I would probably do it that way.
but just one of, they need to maybe look at doing a little replumbing out there too, Little Wascom.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that's definitely a process.
I think that was,
Did you put those other papers, that Excel spreadsheet that I put all the
Yes.
The flow zone,
Yeah. all the-
results?
these
Yes,
heights, like,
No, right there.
these ones right
yeah.
See, our ammonia, see,
Tell them what page you're on.
is not bad
39.
39.
on any of them. I mean, our nitrates are good. Our ammonia is good. A lot of times it's not even detected, so it's less than 0.10 parts per million or whatever it's measured in.
Kent, does it work a lot better in the heat of the summer when you?
Well, that's when if it's hot, and you're not getting rain like we have these last few years, there's several months in there we probably wouldn't discharge at all. We wouldn't have to even take a test.
So we wouldn't have to test, yeah.
I see, that's what I wanted to know.
But the last couple of years, it rains every other day. So, and then we're working on that too, but all that money that you guys spent fixing those manholes out there on the east side with B&W, that helped a bunch, but we still got more problems.
Right.
Where there's water coming into the system from rain, things like that. I mean, a lot of it's been cut down because of all the pipelining too, so
Yeah.
and there's only, 3 years left of that, something like
Yeah.
that, after this one?
Oh, yeah.
I know this is off the subject a little bit with the ammonia content for spring and summer. Would the neighbors to the south or west be interested in irrigating out of that?
Well, I don't know. You're dealing,
Because I don't think you don't have to wait X amount of days. They just have to take it down to a certain level, then they would have to stop.
well, I don't know. I never even got to call KDG and tell them about the thing overflowing because Varian took care of that for me, so he's not real fond of us out there anyway, I don't think, so.
That's a
something to
question.
check into.
That's a question, because irrigation is an option.
Yes.
In lieu of, it makes you a non-discharging
Yeah,
when you
makes you
do
non-discharging.
irrigate.
You could discharge any time regardless.
Probably, does it have to be incorporated anymore? I don't even know if it has to be incorporated anymore.
No, it could
it's
be,
not
it
solid,
could be,
it's just liquid.
it could be gone through a center pivot or.
That's what I'm saying. We could just irrigate our grass out there.
Right, we got plenty of land out there. So, there's a few different options that we can look into. It's one is including the fifth cell, irrigation's one. There's a couple other experimental things that are out there, but those are things we can definitely go through with this process and see what our land or the land around it can accept.
Because I know Washington irrigates out of theirs.
Good.
Yeah.
okay.
I can talk to Carl about that a little bit.
But, so that's what this was all about. We are gonna start this process as KDHE dictates it. So you'll be hearing more about this as we go along.
Do they have a recommended engineer we use, or?
No, they can't recommend an engineer.
I did a little checking around, like with KRWA, the ones that they knew of.
Right.
And one of them was a guy out of Beloit, I don't remember. He was with, who was he with, Austin? They said he's real good with lagoon stuff.
Was it Schwab Eaton or?
Yeah, it might have been Schwab Eaton, I
Okay,
don't know.
yeah.
And then there's the guy that was one of the original ones, Todd Anderson, he works for SMH down in Manhattan. They said that was a good engineering firm too.
Yeah.
I think it's
There-
SMH.
The
Is that right?
SMH, yes. Yep. There's some pretty good options there.
We just need to make sure it's somebody that is good with lagoons.
With lagoons, so we're not fixing them later. Any other questions about this process?
Anything else? Okay, thank you, Kent.
Sure.
Thanks, Sparky.
Thanks, Kent.
Okay, next up, nothing on notices and hearings, is there? Terry?
We did have a hearing, or there was supposed to be a meeting about the Hartley Ridge. Well, what happened there?
I think they're waiting until they get notices out.
Yeah, there's gonna send
For that.
notices. He's got a date worked up, he just hasn't had the notices ready. So he's working on that.
I was just noticed there wasn't anything on the
I
deal
think it
about
was
it. Thank you.
first part of March, probably, figured by the time he gets through the process.
Right, he didn't give
Said
us a
it'd be a while
date yet.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anything else?
Not on that.
Not on that? Okay, next up is the consent agenda.
Move approved consent agenda. Convention tourism request for $7,025 and the alcohol consumption for M-Act for the Arts Cooperative hosting a concert at the Lee Dam Arts Center.
Have a second?
Second.
Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
7-0.
Next up, we have appropriations ordinance number 3716.
Move to approve appropriation ordinance 3716.
Second.
Okay. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Oh, yeah, this is.
Roll call.
Roll call.
Roll call.
Graham,
Yes.
Bikeman,
Yes.
Hughes,
Yes.
Fry,
Yes.
Schroller,
Yes.
Barron's. Yes. Trump,
Yes.
7-0.
Okay. Next up, staff reports.
All right. First on the list is the scheduled Parks and Cemetery truck replacement. Included our bids for a new truck to replace the Parks and Cemetery 1996 Chevy S10. The Chevy S10 has not been ideal for use in Parks and Cemetery Department and is in need of replacement. The two bids we have are from Nordis Motors and Honeyman Ford. Both dealers have service departments in Marysville, which makes them ideal to get vehicles from. The low bidder is Honeyman Ford with a bid of $28,704 for their Ford F-250. We would plan to have a flatbed installed, which I checked the last one, it was about $3,000 from Bradford, sorry, I had that. So once this is approved, you'd see that come through the council as well. Truck is budgeted to come half out of Parks budget and half out of municipal equipment reserve, but if so desired, we do have the option to completely pull it and pull it out of municipal equipment reserve if you guys deem it necessary. After the new truck is put into service, we would sell the 1996 Chevy S10.
Anybody want to make a motion?
Do we have to have a brand-new truck?
It is the most cost-effective. I went and searched for an equivalent F-250 or 2500, Chevy 2500 out there, and you were looking at 25 to 50,000, depending on. Already has just for what we get here, you can't get that out there on the used market.
What's the backstory on the S10? Why did we even end up with an S10?
We bought two of them.
I can answer that.
Yeah, I guess I know where those come from.
Second city administrator we had, Howard Fair, bought three of them. Two of them have already been gone for quite a while. We had one, street department had one, and the cemetery had one.
Yep. They've been around for a long time.
So it is, as a municipality, we get, and it's sad to hear this, well, not so sad for our taxpayers, but for us as, I can't go buy a vehicle the way we can here. The original price on this was $10,000 more than what is on here. You go buy this online, it's $10,000, in each Chevy and Ford, $10,000 more. You can't get a used vehicle like that. It doesn't, and know that it's gonna work for years to come. These, we buy knowing that the first 5 years are covered under warranty, and that we can have them for 10 years after that, because they're reliable vehicles, whereas a used vehicle, we don't know what they did, or why they're getting rid of it. We build these to spec, whereas a used vehicle could have really nice things that we don't need, and we're paying for that. These are, I don't want to say dumbed down, but hand crank windows.
Yeah,
And
they're
that's
they're a very
their
basic
base
truck.
model.
Yeah.
But even so,
There's no carpet.
yeah, it's
No.
rubber.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it makes the most sense to go brand new, because it saves us money in the long run.
The Ford, it doesn't, I think it says on here, is it a bed delete or is it a cabin chassis?
No, they don't, for the 250, they don't offer the bed delete. The last year when we ordered, it had the bed delete for minus, or the dealer said it took $50 off the price. We made $1,600 off that bed when we sold it. We took it off
So
ourselves
this will
and
come
sold
with,
it.
the Ford would come with a bed.
Yes, and we would sell it, and we would make our money.
And how much would the flatbed would cost?
$3,000.
$3,000.
Yep.
So you need to add that to the 28,000.
I don't know that, I haven't gotten the flatbed, I'll bring that back to council, but that's what we paid last year.
And when would this be delivered?
It took 6 months last time, yeah.
Yeah.
And then to get in line for Bradford build, yeah.
Yeah.
And what was the budget for?
25 out of parks and 25 out of municipal equipment. So we had 50,000 sitting there, yeah.
Is it gonna take another 25,000 like it did in the last new truck we bought though, to get all the equipment for it then?
Not
That was the
this one,
police truck.
that was a police truck to get all that equipment in there. No, $3,000 for the bed. The parks guys, the lights may cost like
They cost $250 maybe for that.
$250, and then our guys install the lights.
So someplace I remember seeing, will they put a snowplow on it too?
No, I put that, it increases the front suspension, and if we ever need an extra snowplow, we got vehicles there. And that, it was an extra little bit, yeah. It wasn't too bad to add it on, but it's just preparation, just in case we need it for a snowplow. And I did that for both of them.
I move we table this until we find out the total cost of what this is gonna be. That with the flatbed included in the installation.
I'm pretty confident that it's gonna be comparable to what it was before.
Well, I like to see it, the total cost. On paper.
I know that one truck for the police department just kept building up. It's
Right,
like
but
a
they have
Mercedes-Benz.
a lot of equipment to go in there. If you've ever been inside a police vehicle,
Hopefully not ever.
there's radios, there's antennas, there's lights. This one won't have that. In fact, the parks don't install a radio, they use their handhelds.
Just going along and buying something like that, have we made any attempt, or is there anything been about moving some of the equipment that's stacked out at the dump now? It's supposed to go on Purple Wave or Craigslist or
We
whatever.
put everything we could on Purple Wave. I just sent an ad request for the red fire truck
We have that moved down by the fire station, so that's going in the paper this week, hopefully. So, yeah, we're moving that.
Because I know there's 2 or 3 other things out there too that got moved around.
Right.
Okay.
Okay, you made a motion, didn't you? Or-
If there's no second, then it fails.
All right, do I have a new motion?
I move to move ahead with the purchase of the 2020 Ford F-250 regular cab XL from Honeyman Ford in the amount of $28,704, half to come from Parks and half from MER.
A second.
Any more discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Next one up is the Craftco crack sealer. We had planned this as well. It's a quote, included is a quote for a Super Shot melter applicator for crack sealing from Craftco. The current crack sealer we have is not large enough to keep up with our workload. We bought our current crack sealer to see if we could improve our street maintenance program, and it's made a great improvement. The cracks aren't showing through our chip and seal anymore, which makes a good, great improvement on that. So it was worth the purchase. Crack sealing has improved the lifespan of many of our streets. To keep this program up, we need a larger crack sealer. The Super Shot melter applicator will greatly improve our efficiency. We have budgeted for this piece of equipment to come out of the street department's budget, and the quote is for, and we have $50,000 in that line item. The quote is, for this equipment is $48,994. We will keep the current crack seal machine for smaller jobs. This will, and like I said, this will greatly improve our efficiency right now to crack seal. Gary, our street supervisor, gets up at 4 o'clock in the morning, goes turn the equipment on so it can melt, and then have it ready by the time work starts or when we can start crack sealing. This item has an overnight option that automatically gets it going. So no more getting up early in the morning to get this thing going. And so those hours are saved. He would go home early, but it's just not efficient that way. It's designed for the work we need to do. The past one, we had no clue what we needed. We needed to see if it would work. So it works, just not as efficiently as we need.
What model number are we getting?
Super Shot 125.
Yeah,
125.
Yeah.
There's no place else we can't get another bid. This is the only place that makes them.
This is pretty specialized equipment, yes. And this is the one we brought to last year's when we decided we were going to buy it. This piece of equipment right here.
Oh, you brought it to the budget.
Yeah.
So
And
we
there
bought
again-
the last one from this company as
Yes,
well?
from this company, yes.
And how much was that? We just bought it last year, didn't we?
Not the year before. I think we spent less than 14 on it. Yeah. And it was a floor model.
And did we have to get a trailer too for it, or was that the paint thing?
No,
We had to buy
got a
it,
trailer to put it on.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yep.
You are
and that was above and beyond
That was
the
above.
price.
Yeah.
This has its own trailer, right?
Yeah, this comes like you see it. It's a trailer itself.
The other one was what?
We had to buy a trailer to put it on because every time they had to move it, they couldn't move it. They needed to get it stabilized, the other one.
Yeah, the
Ended up buying
the
a
current one
trailer
we
to put it
have.
on so that they
Yeah.
could get everything.
Well, let's listen to what Austin has to say here. So what now?
Yeah, we got a trailer to put it on. I think we started trying to put it on the back of a pickup truck and it just didn't work.
You mean the first one we
The
had?
first one, the current one we have right now. This one is a trailer.
And how long have we had it?
A couple years.
So why didn't we buy the good one to start with?
We didn't know. They had this floor model. The council wanted to try it out. So that's the one we went with. and it's been working. We've been working through all the streets and stuff
And they
like
won't
that.
take it as a trade-in
So
now
I
on
was gonna
this
say,
one?
does it have trade-in value?
I don't know, but we thought we'd keep it for, I mean, we could, if that's what you guys want, we thought we could keep it for crack sealing. We got parking lots to crack seal, where this is,
This isn't too big to do the parking lots?
I mean, it probably could work, but it just a little bit more maneuverable with the smaller one. Because that's what the smaller one was designed for, was parking
If
lots.
they're only gonna give us $100 trade-in, then okay.
Okay.
But if
I'll
it's
see what trade-in is.
fairly
Yeah.
significant, it'd be worth considering.
Yes,
Okay.
it would be.
Okay, I can see
I
what
mean,
trade-in
it's
is.
silly to just have something for parking lots for, if it's worth $10,000 or something, I mean,
Okay. I can definitely check on that.
And if it helps sell this one, maybe they'll sweeten that up a little bit, you never know.
I can see that, but right now we got this, and crack sealing season is almost upon us.
So how long does it take to get one once you purchase it?
That I don't know. I don't think they would have this on the floor, so they'd probably have to order it in. Usually equipment like this is probably a month at least out. And the end of cold season is usually when you want to crack seal. So springtime sometime.
yeah, I don't think we need two crack sealers sitting around,
I can
really.
see where, if we can get rid of it, I mean, that's fine. But I do think we definitely need to get this one.
And did we budget for this?
Yes. Yep, it's 50,000 in the street department.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, so we're just gonna
Would
table
there
this.
ever be a time when you deed the two? That you could, so you could do two streets at a time?
I mean, that was also a thought too. At the very least, we could operate much more efficiently with this big one, and we wouldn't object to getting rid of it, but again, to get them both combined, somebody would have to get up early and start it up.
Right.
So
Do you
that,
have the manpower to be able to do two? Because I know last year that's the issue we were running into was
Yeah.
the rain,
No.
and so you weren't able to do much with, but
Right.
if you had two running at the same time on,
we still have one.
when it was dry.
We
to
have
get-
we have one air compressor. I mean, if they were operating on the same street, I couldn't say.
This new one's got an air compressor built into it.
This one doesn't.
It's bigger, that's,
The more expensive one, there was a $75,000 one that had an air compressor on it. Yeah.
because one of them had an air
Yeah,
compressor
one of
built
them-
on it when I was reading the specs on them.
Yeah, one of them had the air compressor. That is not this one.
Okay.
That was a little bit more.
Okay. Like I said, when I was reading the material, it just was one of the things I noticed. so.
Right. But I can bring back, I mean, regardless if you purchase this, but next one I can bring back if they offer trade-in value, and they can just tell us how much that is.
Where did we get the trailer that it's sitting on?
We bought it from down
Waterville?
Waterville.
I think so.
Yeah. They had it
It's
sitting.
about 11 or 12 or whatever it was, $1,000, wasn't it?
$1,200 maybe? Maybe.
Probably.
It's a little, it's,
Steel deck?
I don't think it's
No.
steel.
No, it's
It's
wood.
Yeah, it probably was about 1,200.
yeah. And we did some modifications on our own to make it work. So.
So you want to just table till next meeting, and then you'll get back with what they're gonna offer us for trade-in?
Yeah.
Has there been any looking at, I know it's come up a couple times since I've been on here, a grinder for grinding uneven pavement? and
Every
that sort of
time we
thing,
bring-
Rather than cutting and
Every time
replacing?
we bring back a quote for a grinder, it gets shut down. So if you want to go back
Every time? How many times have there been, Austin?
twice at least since I've been here.
Twice in 8 years? That's, you know,
I haven't been here for 8 years.
Yeah, I was gonna say, it's been here that long.
I have.
Okay. Let's see. All right. Let's see. Next one up.
Light poles.
Light poles in front of by the county courthouse. Evergy is proposing to replace the 7 metal light poles that are old and leaning by the county courthouse area on Broadway with metal poles they have on hand. In the proposition, they requested that we help them with the removal of concrete around 3 of the poles, because there's only 3 in concrete,
and putting concrete back when the poles are set. This wouldn't be any problem. We do that all the time. The question they would like answered is whether we want the poles powder coated or galvanized.
I move we galvanize the light poles.
Second.
What's the difference? What's the
I
difference?
want to
in
know what
they
the
look-
lifespan of the powder coat is.
That's why you leave them galvanized.
And I don't know what the lifespan of but the difference is they charge us $4,768.
Well, I know, but what's the difference in the way they look? I mean, do they look a lot?
Black versus
Black,
silver.
black will look nicer, but it'll cost you more.
Well, I understand that.
That's powder coated, yes. Yes, that's what the poles look like too.
That's what the poles look like.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's a black pole by a galvanized pole.
It's one of those, if they're confident the powder coat is gonna last 30 years, okay, that amortizes out,
Right.
maybe. But if it's like, oh, it's gonna be chipped and look like crap in
Right.
2 years and rusting out
Those are the
from
new
underneath.
those are the new ones they put in Manhattan
I know
right
enough
there,
about
the
powder
black
coat.
ones.
But do they look, I mean, do they last a lot longer?
I doubt it. I mean, the poles
In my
themselves probably not.
appearance, Marginal at
Marginal,
best,
yeah.
yeah.
It,
They
it's
just
for a
look
look. It's a black powder coat for a look. So, but if you just want them galvanized, then there's nothing to do about it. Just have them put it in.
Then I'd say just put them in.
Galvanized.
Galvanized.
Got a motion and a second,
Yep.
correct?
Yes.
Any more discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
6-1.
What do we,
Galvanized. Galvanized. You voted for galvanized. Yep.
we vote for galvanized.
Yep. All right, next one up, another one with Evergy, lights on the West Bridge. Rich with Evergy recently approached me about the lights. They're currently not working up to what they should be. Some nights they'd be all out, some nights one side be working, some nights the other side would be working. He said this is due to the salt and corrosion that is happening on the metal conduit. They are proposing to replace all the wiring as well as replacing the metal conduit with plastic conduit and turn the control of the bridge lights over to the city. Rich informed me that their company doesn't usually do the maintenance on bridge lights like this and would prefer not to continue doing the maintenance. Evergy would install a meter at where our responsibility would begin and continue to maintain everything up to that point. If we chose not to take control of the lights, there's a possibility that Evergy would remove the lights from the bridge. What direction would the council like to
I'd
go?
rather have the lights on the bridge.
I'd rather they be good neighbors and keep their responsibility. They don't usually do this. Tough luck, you did sign up for it. I don't think they should abdicate it when they want to raise rates and do everything else.
When they have to fix it.
Yeah. And is the conduit underneath the lip of the bridge?
I think so. I think it's underneath the,
Yeah.
I don't know exactly where it's at.
It comes up and then it runs up to the box, over and back
And then
down
back
and
down.
back under. Yeah.
Do we know what it costs for the electricity for the lights on the bridge?
They don't, well, I'd have to count the lights and compare them to our bill, because they charge us right now per light. I mean, we're getting charged for it right now.
If we were to take it over, they'd do this, put all this plastic in, guarantee their work, and put in LEDs on all of them so that
They
it would lower it.
got LEDs right now.
They are
Are they
LEDs.
all
Yeah, there are
They're all
LEDs.
They're little, that's good.
Yeah, but we are getting charged by the light right now. They estimate how much time they're on. That's how they do their street lights if they're not metered. So they estimate how much time they're on and charge us per light like that, based on what kind of fixture they are. So it's not like we're not paying for it right now.
The only problem I don't like about the deal, and I don't know how we'll get away from it, if once it's turned over to us, who are we gonna get to?
They said they said to fix it, they're gonna get B&W to fix it right now.
They're gonna hire B&W
They're
to fix it.
outsourcing it.
They're
They're
outsourcing it
outsourcing
too.
it. Yeah.
Because it's above the river and above the railroad tracks, it's very difficult to get to.
Right. So
Nobody wants
Rich said they would get B&W to do it.
They
They
can't.
look,
Hang solar panels off the south side,
I mean-
run them all solar.
they look nice, but are they really necessary?
Broad sunlight.
It would be very smart to do that.
They look
If they
very,
just did
very
the section
nice,
over
but-
the land west of the tracks, east of the river, they probably could get enough panels there to run the whole array.
Or even individual panels for each
Even
light.
light. Take a, tell them to
There
take
are
their
lights
meter.
like that, yes.
I don't know. They look nice, but
They
I
could
don't
run
know
it
if
as a
they're
test
necessary.
project. Tell them they could make a PR thing out of it. Put their name on one of the poles or something.
Okay. But I'm looking for direction where the council would like me
I think
to.
lights are good on it. It's kind of spooky to drive across that thing at night without lights on. I mean,
I
it's
think
not
it needs
impossible.
lights. That's,
I'm also biased because I run over it in darkness in the morning sometimes.
Well, the original, I was on there when the bridge and stuff went in. The original reason the lights got on it is because that bridge has that curve to it,
Yeah.
and they didn't want somebody to keep going straight and run into
Sure.
the bridge. That was the original,
That's why the south one doesn't have lights.
yeah.
Right. I've
Because
heard
there's
that.
light.
Yeah, but you come off of 77 at the
Because
end
it
of
curves
36.
around where the old bridge was.
I'm telling you, that was the reason the
I know.
engineering put the
Yeah,
lights
white.
on it when that bridge went in.
Well, probably, but there's a lot of spooky places that you can't see. You can't see at the end of 77 coming on to 36
Oh, I
either.
know. I don't know why there can't be a light pole out there either.
How soon
there
are they
should
wanting
be.
to know?
Well, I don't think they're doing the work next week, but
I'd say
if you guys want to talk about it, that's fine.
Can they explore doing some sort of, I mean, even experimental project, some energy efficiency, solar, rah. We're
Solar,
good.
yeah, did anybody
Good.
mention any solar lights at all?
Yeah. I mean, it's broad sun. It's a great place for solar. It's
And
not
there's no
over
trees.
anything. If ice fell off the panels, it'd just fall on the ground.
or,
Yeah,
I mean,
it's-
each individual light can have its own solar panel.
Yeah.
You don't have to have a solar panel that
Well, I just
runs
thought they might
a bunch
like
of
the
lights.
flash of having an array.
Yeah.
We have land down there too. If they needed to place it on the ground and run a wire up, what's to keep them from doing that?
I don't know.
Just
What do the ones at Blue
I have-
Rapids have?
At
Right
the end of,
on the
at
Blue
the end of the
Rapids
bridge, have a
Those-
panel there and have the
on the
conduit
flagpoles.
run to the lights from
No,
that.
Yeah,
at the
but-
Blue Rapids Bridge.
Yeah, Blue Rapids, they have lights that shine up on the flags. And they have little solars.
Yeah, there's
Solars that
some-
shine up on them.
They don't have
They don't
lights
have
on.
overhead ones.
No, I was gonna say, I don't think that.
Ask about solar. What are,
We'd like to work with them to find a creative use to, minimize expense and promote clean energy or something.
are you still talking
PR.
about taking over the bridge, though?
The bridge?
That's what their push is. That's what the lighting on the bridge, that's what they're requesting is
They
that.
want to
If
fix the
they're solar-
conduit, and that's
If they're
not-
solar, you wouldn't have to worry about the wiring on it.
No.
There's
Yeah.
still wiring going, well, I mean, unless you're doing individual poles.
12 volts.
Individual ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if you're doing a panel array or something along the bridge, there's still gonna be wires
Right.
to it.
See what they come back with.
So
They like PR, pitch it to them as this is an opportunity to do something bigger and better.
I will talk to them about that. Okay. And then, that's not even on there. The next one, I went and got a quote for traffic lights, an additional traffic light at 20th and Center. I contacted Phillips Southern about installing a third traffic light on the westbound pole at 20th Center. Phillips Southern is the company that initially installed the traffic lights as well as installed the camera system at 14th and Center. Enclosed in there is their quote, and the quote was $2,975 for installation of one of the three section LEDs that are currently on there to be put on the side pole. It's up for your guys' decision.
And I think, was this something you brought up, Kevin? Or who?
I brought
Keith
up.
did.
Okay.
It's been brought up more
Would
than
it be
once.
I
cheaper?
think it's been brought up a few
Would it
times.
be
yeah.
cheaper to move that light that's on a vertical pole coming out Landell Lanes and put it on that pole? Because why would you need two lights coming out Landell Lanes?
They did that by, KDOT requires it a certain way.
The argument I would have for that is people pull up really close because the lot's so tight there on the Landau Lanes one. Sometimes you can't really see the above one because of the way it's situated. I think that vertical one's probably, I don't think we'd want to get rid of that.
If I were to bet,
That'd be my concern.
they did the minimum amount on their lights. They put exactly what KDOT wanted up there rather than spending extra money on lights. I don't think they would have added an extra light for no reason.
I'm pretty surprised how cheap this is, to be honest.
Yeah.
I actually thought
Because
it
you
might
have
be
to,
more
he
than
has to
that.
cut a hole in there and figure out which wires and and do all that stuff, but,
Right.
yeah.
That includes installation?
That is everything, that's their quote.
Wiring and installation.
Why wasn't it done right to begin with?
It was done right, that, they did it to KDOT specs.
Then why
It's,
don't we leave it like KDOT specs is and not worry about it?
I'll let
Well,
Keith explain.
KDOT doesn't think we need a stoplight at 11th Road either. I don't necessarily believe KDOT specs. I think it limits their expense. Probably they're weighing that against safety, whereas I think we would weigh it maybe differently. That's my 2 cents on KDOT specs.
So it was brought by, Keith had a
Yeah, okay.
good
Yeah,
point.
I don't think it's a bad point. It is, when the sun's in that spot, you want all the lights facing people you can.
Just because KDOT spec that out to have it on the vertical pole coming out Land O'Lanes, I mean, there's hardly any traffic coming out of there in the first place.
Right.
Why can't we just move that light?
Where would we, if we move forward with this, where do you think would be the proper place for it to come from as far as funding?
Well, how do we pay for streetlights? Is that
They come out of general and streetlights.
streetlights?
We can take it out of public works, sales tax. I mean, if you want to, because it is a
That's
public work.
it's a street
Or a
improvement.
utility.
Yeah.
In street, we have a utilities and sales tax as well.
There was a street, or what do you call it, street lights?
Streetlights.
There is
That's how we
streetlights in
pay
the
for
general
stuff
fund.
like that.
And they're more than enough to cover something like this.
It's not in the line item, probably not, but it would, this won't hurt anything.
Yeah, it wouldn't, the line item will probably go over a bit.
Yeah.
All right, well, I move to approve the stoplight with installation from Phillips Southern Electric in the amount of $29.75 for the street light at 20th Street and US 36 to come out of the street light fund in the general fund.
Second.
All right. Any more discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Opposed?
6-1.
6-1.
Two different funds?
Oh, no, it's just the line under the general fund.
Oh,
The-
The next thing is not on your agenda, but is, you don't have to decide on it tonight. Schwab Eaton, so you can talk about it or think about it over the next couple weeks. But they have proposed, after discussion with committees, 2 different possible master plans. And they need, the reason why they're putting a master plan together is so they know possibly where the future of Lakeview is going to go. And so they can adjust the storm drainage in that direction. So they're not blindly just putting pipes where they think they need to go. So there are 2 different options on here, and I'll give the main aspect that I see that is different is that lower parking area. C1, as you see in the right bottom corner, the parking lot is where it's at, and they have a drive around, it looks like around the new playground area, which would put a new playground there, but they'd have a drive-through area right there. And then the other side, which adjustments can be made, but the main point is on the others, on C2, they put a multi-purpose field with a sort of a drop-off area and the other side. So that multi-purpose field versus the parking lot improvements is probably the main thing I see that is different. They include the park trail, they parking lot expansion up top if you choose to put a multi-purpose field. I mean, the new playground area and all that stuff, but that multi-purpose field versus the parking lot, I think that's the main difference.
Is there a reason they didn't really show much for definition or improvements along 20th Street? I noticed the trail kind of dumps out in 3 spots, but then there's no sidewalk.
Right. I saw that today too. but that, I mean, that's a room for improvement. I don't think that'll have much on the drainage plan, though.
Okay.
I mean, it's just, I think there should be a sidewalk going from, north to south. or
They don't
south to north.
show anything where the old sand volleyball pits are. I mean, I guess the proposal would be just to kind of leave all that be fallow.
Right at this moment. I mean, again, yeah. After this came after discussion of.
Sure.
Yeah, so this is not a final idea, but again, they wanted to, their main concern is the drainage. And again, if you guys want to think about this for the next 2 weeks, come back in the next 2 weeks with a conclusion on how to direct our engineers.
I got two things I want to say before we turn this over. In C1, with the parking lot down below,
Right,
we have a lot of elderly people that attend our games here.
right.
And I know for some, it doesn't matter. But when you go to C2 and the parking lot's up on top, I know when you go anywhere else, especially go to Manhattan to Seco Park, you gotta walk, it seems like 3 miles to get to the ball field.
Right.
And the old people do not like that.
Look down here in that drop-off area.
There's
There's a parking area.
Yeah, but that's not, you're gonna get maybe 10 cars in that.
Right now, we have 6. I mean, that's
handicap.
right, that's.
I didn't say handicap.
Right.
I said elderly people,
Older people.
older people.
Right.
Well, I wonder too, in that drop-off area, you could almost, I mean, it looks like they could have designed that to make for more parking on the north side or in the island in the middle. There's probably room to make for more parking there now. How you'd police that to make sure it was the people who needed it
Yeah.
is a different issue.
Right.
But
Like I said, I know you get to Manhattan, some of these, Topeka, down to Bettis Ball Field and stuff like that there, you gotta walk forever to get to the ball fields.
Also, the way it's set up now, you can park here and watch if you have somebody playing here or have somebody playing here. With the parking lot, you could still park in the parking lot, but here, you could not park anywhere that you could see a game.
Right.
And my husband's that way. He'll sit in the car and watch.
Well, we set up here in the parking.
Yes. Yeah, right, and the parking here, and you can see this field and this field, you just can't see the black dot.
Well, we watch the football player, the football games too.
Yep.
I don't think on the C1, the drop-off thing going between the playground and the stands, I don't know.
I don't care for
what
that.
universe that's a good
That's a mix.
You get kids that walk
Back and
back
forth,
and
back and
forth.
forth, back and forth.
Yeah, and that's the
And-
first thing I thought.
I mean, these are all good points, and we can further discuss that. That's why I wanted to lay this out there. We're not deciding,
Yeah.
we don't have to decide tonight. Take a good look at them. There's further discussion beyond this. They just wanted a direction so they could tell where the water, tell the water where to go.
Yeah, you don't want to get rid of that parking lot there. You don't want to make this a multi-purpose field, because there's so many people that park there and people that park in there.
I mean, don't get me wrong, I do like the idea of having a multi-purpose field there, and I like also having the idea of having cars. I understand it'd be more a problem for people for viewing and walking, but as, thinking of having kids who run around, that's part of the advantage of having to walk at somewhere like Seco Park is your kids would have to really get away from you a long ways before they could get into a car situation. So I understand why they would want to
And I
engineer
know
it that
part
way.
of the reason was the water drainage.
Sure.
That was why they were wanting to talk about
Multi-purpose
putting.
field would absorb water.
Exactly.
Well,
probably.
I don't know. That whole area is limestone,
They'd have to
ledge,
haul in
correct?
a lot of
Yeah, I
topsoil.
mean, there'd be a
Yeah.
lot of.
You would take one of the,
Basically,
let's
the
not-
drain that's there could be basically a French drain underneath the field if you did it correctly.
Yeah.
A big friggin' French drain.
Anyways, so take a look at them. More discussion beyond the aspects of what's on here. And we can talk about it next week, or next meeting.
We park along there and we can sit in it.
All right.
I go down and watch the football games with them.
I do too. Fred sits in the vehicle.
I think that's all I got.
Standing committees?
What, street?
Okay. Just water, wastewater, which we've kind of already covered, I
Yeah.
guess. Anybody have anything, water, wastewater?
Me and Todd had a meeting tonight, and we're giving credit to Pony Run Apartments to $435.35 credit to their sewer account. They had a broken sewer line, water
And
line.
it was verified outside the building, so it went into the ground, not into the sewer
Down through
system.
the floor drain or down the city sewer, so.
And we've set that precedent for, I don't know, as long as I've been on
Yeah.
council.
I think it's handled.
So, yeah.
Anything else on water?
No, I'm gonna go back to street though.
Yeah.
Sorry. Whoever threw the sand last Saturday was best idea ever. I heard lots of compliments on that. I just want to let everybody know that
On the gravel or?
on the gravel that was thrown out on the public streets throughout town. So lots of comments on it that it helped a lot of people get around. So
Yep. Yeah, they did a great job.
yeah. Last Saturday
I
or
wasn't.
Friday night, I guess, that they threw it. So yeah. Yeah, you were gone. During the midst of the ice. That's all I have on that side.
Anything else? Okay. Parks and Rec? Cemetery and Airport? Police and Fire? Admin and Finance?
Yeah, I have one
Yeah.
thing, Mayor. You asked us some questions here last meeting about if there's some kind of a discrepancy. I wish you could explain that because I tried to find a discrepancy and I can't find no discrepancy.
It's worded a little bit different. I think that the city's version says the mayor has superintending authority. I'm trying to think how exactly that's worded.
I can't hear you.
It's, the city says that the mayor has superintending authority, which is pretty broad and vague.
Versus the league.
Yeah, versus the leagues, it's a little bit more
Constrained.
defined, yeah. And so I just thought it would be a good idea for everybody to kind of look that over and
And how would you change it? That's what I want to know.
council would change it.
Against Kansas law?
Well, you can't, I mean, you're limited by law what you can, but I would like to see it defined as much as it can and be legal. I guess what I'm saying is I'm not gonna, if you guys want to define that, I am in support of you defining what my role is. And
And don't you think it's defined already?
pretty broadly,
I think it could be more concisely
I think it could be
defined.
more concise, yes, yes.
When I'm going through this, I can't find anything wrong unless we're deciding that we're not what number of city we're considered to be, whether we're
We're two.
third or second.
No, we're second.
I know, we're second, and if you read that, it explains what second-class cities are. It's definite. I can't understand what we would want to change. It all goes along with the law.
It does.
The statute, the whole thing is, according to that, I can't see what gave us the power to think we'd want to change what is already really done good. Unless there's something I'm not finding.
No, I mean, you're limited somewhat how you can word it, but I just thought that it would be better to align it more with
What the league recommends.
what the league recommends.
Yeah,
I think
if
it
the
makes it
league's
easier
recommending it, I'm sure
if
they
you can word it more closely to what the league, as long as it's legal, to what the league has, makes it easier. If like one of you council members has a question about whether I can or can't do something, or I have a question about it, it makes it easier when you call league, if it's worded more like how they have it worded.
Because they can give advice based on their recommendations. Otherwise, they're going to start getting into murky waters where they don't want to legally advise something when we're not following their recommendations because they don't know what the implications would be, and then we have to call Craig.
I understand, but I think they made it kind of ambiguous in their book about, they explained both of them in the same thing, and I don't think they know that we're number 2 city instead of a number 3.
Well, they know what we are, but,
Well, you asked about us looking into it, and I kind of read it, and I can't see anything wrong with the way it is, so
okay,
I just wanted to add that.
okay.
I followed instructions. That's all I had.
Anything else on admin and finance? We've got a couple appointments, don't we? Brian Froggle, Chairman of Convention and Tourism. Brian Froggle for Chairman of Convention and Tourism, and Mary Feldhausen for Vice Chairman.
Move to approve the mayor's nominations or appointments.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We don't have anything for executive session, do we? Round table.
Or did you check with city attorney?
Nothing.
Cute. I don't really have anything for round table other than just to mirror what Kevin said, that I heard a lot of compliments about the way the city got the street crew got the streets cleared. So that's all I've really got. Dina? Keith?
Is there still going to be a trial period for disc golf at Lakeview?
Well, I don't know. We've kind of
It's kind of slipped, hasn't it?
kind of slipped. We're past the trial period. It's supposed to be, was it 6 months? I'm trying to think back what we
Yeah.
said.
What was the
Is that
date of
6
the
months
start?
each place?
Yeah, they got installed. Didn't get installed till, what, April?
Can't hear
We're way past 6 months, I know
Yeah.
that.
And I know now's probably not the best time to be doing much of anything, but we need to probably
No.
get on top of that as soon as the weather warms, whether that's next month or
Right.
March.
Well, I move that we have it at City Park permanently,
You want to discontinue the,
discontinue the trial period at Lakeview.
They did have, they had a couple they were wanting to move, didn't they? Kind of, if I remember right. There were a
Yeah.
couple
Yeah.
that they were talking about moving to a
Right.
different
on the
spot.
radar?
Mr. Wise? But he has a motion. We have a second?
Well, I mean, are we saying lock it in place, nothing changes, we don't want them to move it? Are we, I mean, I've had no negative problems with having it in City Park ever, but I also don't want us to just cancel what we aligned out to do unless we know what the cancellation looks like, if that makes sense. Like,
I think it's just going to be a waste of people's time to get that all set up, personally.
can we get a
You can-
report from the people, the quote-unquote disc golf
Disc golf
people,
people.
as far as, A, their impressions, B, if there's anything they want to, or I want to make sure we get a little bit of feedback before we throw out.
You can,
I'm-
an idea would be to continue with the idea, that city staff always has the ability to move stuff. I mean, that's,
Sure.
he didn't, this is just an advocate sort of thing, devil's advocate sort of thing. He didn't say anything about locking it in or anything like that, the map wise. But for safety concerns, we always have the ability to go over here rather than there.
Well, and I do remember in the early days of their installation, there was some talk about, well, maybe we'll want to move or change one or two things, but
Right. They're not
Nothing
they're not
happened.
cemented in at all right now.
it's
So
just in the soil with a disc on the bottom.
yes. So if you were to approve it right now, we could, if I or Dale or anybody on city staff has safety concerns, for instance, if I wanted to not have to go out and pick discs out of the empty pool, I mean, we could move it slightly over, and accommodate that. It hasn't been bothersome right now, but I could see a really good windy day could take a disc over there,
Yeah.
a couple or two, but, that's just that perspective if passed.
As tempted as I am, I still feel like we should tap the brakes a little bit. I don't like doing anything in too much haste. Beats me.
Well, is there a second?
All right, I'll make a second to get it to a vote.
Okay. Any more discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
All right.
Aye.
That being said, I'd like to get with the disc golf people and city staff and start working towards either continuing with this or changing course or whatever, but I think we are on top dead center right now because we're not following our own goals. So we need to do something about that.
Okay.
I think
So
right now we're,
what kind of report do you want back from disc golf people?
as far as if they are pleased, if there's things they'd like to see changed, what their thoughts are. I mean, if there was anybody specifically who was concerned about it and making sure we get both sites considered, I'd like to get their thoughts. Maybe they've had a change of heart. Maybe they still feel like we need to continue on course. We had a plan that I thought was pretty even-handed and fair to everybody, so I think we should continue down that course.
Yep. Yep.
Anything else, Keith?
No.
Okay. Terry?
No, I did want to mention that we got a lot of people living here in town that are in this, putting on that performance this week. And they did a professional job, and they ought to get some credit for it. If you missed it, you really missed something. So I just wanted to mention that.
All right. Todd?
The city, our maintenance, where we're required to take care of on 77 South 10th Street, does it end at Jackson, or does it end at the abutment of the bridge?
Closer to the bridge.
Because it's really bad. 77 through there is like, get your bike tire stuck in the cracks bad. And so I didn't know if that's something that we need to be doing something, I mean, obviously come spring.
Yeah, it was.
Or if that's something we need to talk to the state about, because I don't think has it been resurfaced since the bridge went in 05 or 6 or whatever?
I don't think so.
It's very old, that pavement, and it's shown its age pretty badly.
Right.
That was supposed to be part of that C-clip, wasn't it?
If it's
got it,
closer
yeah.
to, there's a line somewhere in there. We're not quite all the way up. I'll have to go look at it, but it's right past Jackson.
Yeah, you can see where the pavement kind of changes, but that first section north of the bridge is probably the worst. I rode a lot of pavement this weekend. That was the worst I saw anywhere. So if the state needs to take care of their portion, then there you go. That's all I got.
All right. Diane?
It was brought to my attention how dark the corners out there at 36 and 77 intersection, out there when we were talking about lights on the bridge. Somebody was telling me that her husband parks his truck out there on the strip out there, and that she goes and picks him up sometimes, and that, there's no railing or anything, where 36 or 77 comes down and after that wreck was, that I guess it's a really, really dark corner, especially if there's no moon or anything, there's no light there. I don't know whether the city, if that's the city's jurisdiction or the state, or who would put a light out there.
That's the state.
This is the city limit line, I guess.
Yeah.
It is squarely in theirs, isn't it?
I don't even know if there's reflectors going around the corner or not. We came back down around down 36 last night, and so we were coming into town. So I don't know if there's any reflectors going north. But I guess she said it's an awfully, awfully dark corner, and I don't know if we can talk to anybody about
That is
doing anything.
the state, and we would just have to pass the message along. Is basically what it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And then Austin, I saw where you went to a meeting. Did you give us a report on that meeting to Garden City when you went in December?
No, you haven't seen one, so I haven't given you one.
Okay, all right. But that was part of our agreement when you asked to go to meetings this year. That,
Right, and we talked about it this last meeting, right?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, we talked about it.
Yeah, that if you go to meetings,
Right.
we'd like to have you give us.
I know. Yes, you brought that up last
Yeah.
At least
Thank
12
you.
pages.
Well, no, but I mean, that was back in December, and that, this is the end of January now. That you went last year in December, you went to a meeting. Didn't you go to Garden City?
Yes, we talked about this, Diane.
Well,
You mean you'd like the reports more quickly?
well, I didn't know if he had forgotten or if he was planning on giving us a report for his meeting. That's all I was asking. So,
Cite your references at the bottom, footnotes.
okay. I just was asking if we were gonna get him.
I know, we discussed it last meeting. I told you why I haven't given you a report so far.
I didn't ask about it last meeting.
Yeah.
I did. I think I brought it up.
And you pointed it out as well.
You asked about it last meeting?
Yeah,
I missed
yeah.
it. Oh,
Well, yeah,
no,
because
I
you were
missed it
asking about
then.
the coming year's trips, and I said,
Yes.
yep, as long as we get
We approved
reports.
this
Well, that
coming
was-
year's trips, and you
Okay.
both brought it up, so I said, yes, from here.
Well,
sort of-
that was for coming, that was for
Right.
meetings coming up this next year.
Right, and I said, I try to write it down, life comes forward,
Okay.
it just doesn't
Well, I
always
didn't-
happen, and
no, I
I
didn't
said,
have
from
any
here
idea.
on out.
I forgot you went
do
to
it.
the meeting in December. I had
Right.
nothing. Okay, that's fine. Thank you.
Okay. Colleen? Nothing?
Yeah, I got 2 or 3 things.
Okay.
Believe it or not, believe it or not. First one again, the press is gone, of course. We need to make sure that our citizens are scooping their sidewalks on the safe routes to school. That bothers me more than anything. These kids in this ice storm trying to go up 10th Street to that school and could not make it up.
Or 11th Street.
Or 11th Street. You know, those kids are on their way to school walking, they can't get up, you know, we've got an ordinance that's 24 hours, I know. I mean, people just need to take advantage of it and get on or get some ice melt or do something so those kids can get to school safely. Number one. Second thing I have is on intersections where I guess the city throws the snow up on these handicap ADA deals. I had a gentleman the other day said he couldn't get his little scooter because the snow ridge is too high. Who opens those up, Austin?
The people by the sidewalks.
It goes back to the property owner.
Right.
Okay, I will tell him that then.
Right. Just like a driveway, we can't control that it blocks the driveway, and that's the property owner.
I mean, to, the property owner's credit, sometimes if you have a corner lot, it's pretty, it's not like I have trouble clearing it
Right.
because it gets cornered and piled.
Right.
So you're
Right.
not, you're not
Yeah.
clearing a ridge like you would on a driveway.
Yeah.
Right.
You're clearing a pile, and
yeah,
that's not.
huge pile.
And then some of that, as far as it comes to enforcing ordinances, we should take that into account.
Because I know that was his problem. He said he had to take it out in the street and it was slushy in the street and he would just assume it stayed on the sidewalk. But he couldn't stay on the sidewalk because he couldn't get his scooter over the city's snowplowed bridges. So, however, we need to,
Right. Yeah, it'd be a challenge for us to go and clear all the sidewalks. So that's why it's back on the property owner.
okay.
In my neighborhood, I noticed my sidewalk's the only one that's ever done. Because I pay somebody to do it. Yeah.
And I brought up a couple months ago about the bright light signs. Have you researched anything on that?
Bright light signs.
Like out at
Heritage,
Heritage and what's the other one?
Land
out there?
Lanes.
Oh, yeah, Land O'Lane's. There's one new one down here and out at Hometown Lumber.
Hometown is great.
About getting, I know you said they were probably grandfathered in, but about getting those toned down at night.
Okay.
Land O'Lane's
I
isn't
think I
turning theirs
remember.
on in here.
I apologize for that, but
I just, when the snow was bright as it was and those lights go,
Yeah, when they flash when you're driving by, that's when it's really.
it really messes with,
Who's this down here?
cell ones.
Cell one.
I didn't realize Land O'Lane's. I didn't
Yours is,
realize
I think, a
Land.
little dimmer for some
Yeah.
reason. I don't know why.
It's not
a
as bright,
different
it's not
brand.
as bright as it was.
But they said Land O'Lane's wasn't on anymore, I guess.
That's all
I can
have,
see
sir.
if they can turn it down.
Okay.
Put a filter.
During the day, it doesn't,
Yeah,
when the
'cause
sun's
everything
out, but
else
at
is
night,
good,
if they
yeah.
can tone them down to a degree.
Okay.
That's all I have, sir.
All right.
Move to adjourn.
Second.
All right. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
that they made the comment that the Legion should have to turn theirs off too.
Well, I think the Legion's is nice and dim. It's not super
It's not
bright.
super bright.
I don't know if it's a different one too. I think a